Happy Breastfeeding Month. I am here with my babe, and my babe is feeding on me. Happy Breastfeeding Month. I can't say that enough to anybody who has been a breastfeeder, anybody who is currently breastfeeding and possibly struggling. Believe me, it gets easy or the more you stay committed to it. So I am here to share my 6-month postpartum journey and just give a real raw reality of like, this is what life is. I wanted to come on here and talk about something else, but baby was hungry and we feed on demand because who's the boss? Baby's the boss. Boss baby in demand. But I'm so excited. I got invited to 2, not 1, but 2 breastfeeding events just for moms by 2 nonprofits, one being WIC and the second being Black Infant and Families. Yeah, that's the nonprofit. They're hosting a dinner in Blanco, which is white in Spanish. So they're hosting a picnic dinner in all white this Saturday, and I'm kind of still debating if I want to bring baby or not. She's not vaccinated yet, and I'm still weary about bringing her around people, especially since she's not vaccinated. If you are in this live and you have been on both sides, like your baby wasn't vaccinated yet or you chose not to get your baby vaccinated, tell me your experience and how that went, and like how long you chose to keep your baby indoors before exposing them to other people. I'm so excited. I would love to go. My partner's open to go. I'm excited for these breastfeeding, just not even network events, but breastfeeding events where I get to go out, be with other moms. I haven't gone out at all other than twice. So for my 6-week update, y'all, this Saturday I finally have been able to have a self-care day. Hi, I'm so excited. My partner and I, we agreed that Saturday was going to be the day that I would be able to step out and be on mom duty. And so from 12 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I was at the spa all day long. When I say I hopped into every sauna I could, every wet pool I could, I slept unbothered. It felt so good to be off of just mom duty, even though it's been 6 gorgeous weeks with my baby. To get away, I mean, we don't give enough praise as to the job duties it takes to be a mom all day, every day, 24/7, especially a newborn. So I'm just really excited that I was able to step away from being a mom and have faith in my partner that he would take care of everything. I had more than enough breast milk pumped out, ready to go. And even while I was at the spa, I had to pump twice because my boobs were so engorged and I just had to get that milk out. So I came home with milk, which made it just fantastic. And when I came home, it was feeding time and baby was ready to feed. So I'm happy I can be of service of my little baby. I needed I'm trying not to read some of these comments. And this is the girl I'm breastfeeding. This is baby Bean. So I'm really excited to start off my 6 weeks like that. Self-care, being invited to 2 breastfeeding events, one by WIC, another by a Black-owned nonprofit. It's called Black Infants and Families. And I'm just not sure if I want to bring my baby, as much as I know as other babies will be there. She's not vaccinated, and I'm just not sure if I should bring her out into the public just yet. And if you have any kids, please give me some advice. This is my first one, and I just want to do the best and serve her in the bestest way. So 6 weeks, some of the milestones that has come about is, one, I have been able to get my baby to go to sleep without me cradling her. I put Gracie's Corner is about to be my new best friend. Yeah, Gracie's Corner is about to be my new best friend. Baby is she's pottying and booby feeding, but baby went to sleep watching Gracie's Corner, and I thought that was beautiful. On the way to her doctor's appointment, I was able to get dressed without having to like carry her around. And this needs to be reported. You can just leave. That's fine too. You can just leave. Thank you all for like supporting breastfeeding, because it's Breastfeeding Month and I'm not showing anything that is overly, you know, explicit. Another thing, another milestone is my baby is now, you okay, love? Yeah. My baby is now 8 pounds and 3 ounces. She was borderline preemie, so for her to reach this milestone of over 8 pounds, I just feel like this is such a big feat, because one, I had a struggle breastfeeding at first. Two, naturally most babies lose weight within the first and second week, and she was almost dropping down to preemie weight when she was born. She was born 5 pounds and 14 ounces, and she had dropped to like 5 pounds 7 ounces, and I just didn't want her to, you know, lose any more weight. So the fact that she's now 8 pounds 3 ounces, we went up a diaper size. She's now in ones, no more newborns. And bye. You can get off my live if you want to. And you can get off the live, Kai, that's fine. Because it's very much natural, and if I was in public, I would be breastfeeding the same way. What is another milestone? My baby has been able to stand up, not like completely by herself, but stand up. It's also really good that she's been able to hold her head up herself. Another milestone is, I think those are the biggest ones from last week to this week. Those are the biggest milestones. And how can I report you to leave? How can I report some of y'all to leave? Oh my God, premature for 7 weeks. Yes! Yes to the growth. Growth. And she did come early. She came 18 days earlier than her due date, and she was already kind of growing slow in the womb. So I'm just glad that we're on to bigger and better things. Hello. Thank you kindly. But this is something that I did notice. It's not a milestone, but this is something I did notice at the not OB, but the peds. The day before we went to peds, her voice sounded hoarse, and I'm like, oh no, I hope my baby's not getting sick. I heard that, you know, having a sick baby is just no fun at all, because it's not really much you can do to calm them down. But she had a hoarse throat, and peds, the doctor, ironically, they were saying that there was nothing wrong with her. Her lymph nodes didn't seem swollen. She didn't have any signs of mucus, no fever. So they were saying that it's a possibility that her voice is changing, even though she isn't talking yet. But that's cool to know that a baby's voice can adapt as they're getting ready to talk. And what else? I found out that my baby has an umbilical hernia. I didn't know that it was really common, but it did explain as to why there are some signs of like 15 to 30 minutes of just crying. Like no matter how much I soothe, what I put on, like, you know, she'll stop crying in between, but she'll go back. At first I thought it was from poopy, but it's because she has an umbilical hernia. And what that means is pretty much her umbilical, when it was cut, it has nothing to do with how short it was cut or how long it was cut, but now that it's fallen off, her navel is like poking out like a gumdrop. And because of that, and because like the inside part of the organ is like it's poking through the navel, that's the best way I can describe it. So it causes a lot of pain sometimes. She doesn't have the worst pain threshold, meaning he said that most babies, when they do have an umbilical hernia, most of the time they're crying for 3 to 5 hours, and she's nowhere near that. She is, if anything, she'll cry like once a day in between 15 to 30 minutes, and I feel like it's getting better. It goes away by itself, and because she's not in a huge pain threshold, they're not going to do surgery, so it should go away by 5 or before she turns 5, and that's all we can hope for. It just keeps soothing her. Yes, all this hair, I couldn't believe I never had heartburn before, so having pregnancy heartburn, I guess the midwife's tale or the wives' tale is true. If you have heartburn, they'll come out with a full head of hair. And speaking of full head of hair, I feel like I need to call the doctor to see like how, if she has any like, what is it called, cradle's cap. If anybody ever had cradle's cap in their baby's head, give me a little description of what it was like. I'm not sure if this is just like leftover Vernex. I'm not sure if this is just like her scalp adjusting, because it's only in a specific part of her head. It doesn't seem flaky. It doesn't seem like it's irritating her, but I noticed it today when we did a wash up, and I want to see how can I fix it. I just want to see how I can fix it. So that's a new, not necessarily a milestone, but an update. Now, lastly, I want to talk about my OB appointment. What? Sorry, love. I shifted and okay. Let's switch boobs. We're gonna switch boobs, honey. You okay, love? Is somebody pottying? Maybe. Let's switch boobies. Helps dry. Oh. Okay, Miss Peggy, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna try that. When I looked it up, because I try not to self-diagnose things, but when I looked it up, it said that there's certain shampoos. Some people say some shampoos work, some say they don't. Some people say put oils in it. Some people say don't let their hair saturate in oils. I hate that I missed looking at this or finding this the day after I left the doctor. But it would have been great to get that checked out. So I'm gonna try that. I definitely want to like wash her hair some more. She used to not like anybody to touch her hair, so I'm glad that we got to a point where hair washes are like good to go. But let's talk about my OB appointment. So this is Baby Bean. This is Baby Bean. Feel free to call her Amira. That's her real name. Or Amira. Amira is the correct pronunciation if you're Jewish or you're from the Hebrew culture. But her name is Amira. We pronounce it Amira, but it's okay for Amira. We're okay with that. So my OB appointment, at first I was not able, my first OB postpartum appointment, it was phone call, and I thought that was really weird, so I asked for it in person. Outside of that, whew, I had to remove that person from here. But outside of that, I finally got my in-person. Get out of here. I don't even know why you're in here. It's not made for kids. Bye. So yeah, outside of that, I did go in person. We still did not do a vaginal exam. And here's why. They said because based on my answers of like, you know, is it itchy, is it smelly, all of those were no. They were like, there's no need to do a vaginal exam. So I guess they don't want to waste materials, but I'm just like, how do you know the vagina is okay unless you just do the swabs? So I didn't get tested. I feel like I'm still gonna go to like Planned Parenthood just to make sure all the lady parts are fully intact, because that was the purpose of me asking for an in-person appointment. So the fact that they disregarded my wishes, I still want to go get checked to make sure there's no infections, everything's sealed up correctly, yada yada yada. The second part of the postpartum appointment with the OB was birth control. Now, if anybody knows, or if you don't know, it is really easy to get pregnant in postpartum. Some people get pregnant as early as 3 weeks after having a baby. I'm currently 6 going on 7 weeks, and me and my partner, we have done the do, and each time I was like, oh gosh, I hope we're not going to have a 2 under 2. And I say that because, one, I am one of the 20% that got pregnant from pre-cum. Nobody shot up the club. So for me, that means I'm really fertile, and I definitely just want to be more prepared next time before, you know, bringing in another baby. And I'm still getting used to this one. This is my first one. So what I did have them do, because I did have sex recently, we did a pregnancy test. Your girl is not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. And from there, they definitely tried to push on the birth control. I have not been on birth control since 2013. And that was from personal choice. For one, the side effects did not agree with my body. I tried 3 different types of birth control, and each of them gave me like a bad symptom. Most of them was like uncontrollable and longevity bleeding. So if you want to know what kind of birth control I've been on the pill, I've done the shot, and I've done Implanon, which is the rod that they put in the arm, in the bicep. And they've all just, they were crap. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So I haven't been on birth control since 2013. I would like to say, like, I majority have gone by my ovulation cycle, and that has worked all the way up until last year. Last year, I had sex after my ovulation cycle, and then my period came on, so I assumed I wasn't pregnant, but I was. So, when I was given the options at the OB appointment regarding birth control, I told them my personal beliefs about it and how I don't like it, and they still, you know what doctors do, they keep trying to push that pharmaceutical. And one thing I did know, but she doubled down and confirmed that birth control can alter how much a woman is lactating when they're breastfeeding. I was almost considering doing the pill. They have a lower dosage of hormones for quote-unquote pregnant women. Well, not pregnant women, but postpartum, which it doesn't have any estrogen in it. It just has progesterone. And even though it's supposed to be a lower hormone dose, it can still affect my lactation. And that's just something I'm not willing to play with. Because one, I don't know what birth control will do to my body after years of not being on it, and 2, I don't want to play with what's coming out of my body from feeding my kid. I feel like it's very essential since I'm solely breastfeeding. I'm not doing any formula. and I feel like that's a huge feat. I'm very proud of myself for not giving up on breastfeeding, because I almost didn't think that I would enjoy it prior to her getting here. So the fact that I am enjoying it, and I got the latching right and whatnot, like, I'm so happy about the process, and it's nothing better than breast milk. No offense to anyone who's had to go on formula for other reasons, but I don't want to mess with that. They said, you know, if it does mess with my milk supply, then they'll take me off or give me a lower dose of birth control, and I just don't want to play with that. I had a drop in lactation in my first 2 to 4 weeks of postpartum, and it almost depressed me. I wouldn't say depressed, it more so disappointed me as a mom, because I'm like, this is how I'm supposed to feed. So if my milk supply isn't enough, then what am I gonna do? So yeah, I just don't want to mess with that again. So I'm glad that even though I let them put the order in, it's at the pharmacy waiting for me, I guess. I'm not gonna go get it. It could be there forever. But the day after my appointment, well, day of my appointment, but after, me and my partner, we talked, and he was like, you know, no birth control. Like, let's not do that at all. I don't want you to go on birth control. He personally doesn't like what birth control does to women's bodies, and we agreed that we'll use condoms, which it hurts me to know. It hurts me. It hurts me. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I want a natural. Are there any condoms that y'all can recommend that feel as thin as possible? We haven't had sex with a condom in I don't know how many years, so it's just, that's gonna be new, but I'm very glad that he's advocating for me as well. And you know, it's always women that have to, or typically it's women, because there's no birth control for men. I asked, and the studies are not thorough enough to put out a birth control method for men just yet. I did ask, but it's typically women that have to endure the physical changes or alterations that birth control, you know, brings on. I'm glad that he stepped in and he's willing to do something that'll help aid and give balance to both of us without compromising, like just taking sex off the table. So I'm super happy about that. And lastly, because I had my baby at a birth center and not the hospital, I had to go an extra step and go get her birth certificate. Now, I might make a separate video on that just to show the entire process, because I didn't realize I would have to do that. Now, as a doula, I've assisted at birth centers and whatnot, but because it's not me, I guess it just completely went over my head. So it was kind of like a long, thorough process to get her birth certificate, but I finally got the call. We can come pick up that birth certificate this week, and because we didn't have the baby in the hospital typically does all of that. So because we didn't, we have to go the longer route to go get those things done, which included calling, which included sending documents via email, which included going to Vital Records ourselves, paying, and doing more paperwork in person. And I thought we would be able to get her social security card in tandem, but nope, have to wait to get the social security card. So it's almost about to be 2 months that she's been here, and we're just now getting the ball rolling on that. We're still getting the ball rolling on insurance. For some reason, her insurance is still pending on both my end and her dad. So her dad has her on his insurance, and I was gonna put her on mine and just see like who has the best insurance for her. about that. That sounds like a really good hack. I wonder if there's something on Reddit or something like that. I have to bring this up to my lady friends and see, has anybody tried that before? I wonder. And the fact, I think what's more scary with the possible pregnancy thing is that I still haven't started my period, and it is common that most women won't have a period, or it's a really delayed period. So we don't know when we're ovulating because we don't have a period. So what's wrong, baby? You ready for a burpee? Let's burpee. Come on, let's burpee. Ooh. So yeah, like that's the scary part. And so the OB was like, because I had sex last August 7th, that we should take another pregnancy test within a week. So next Monday I should take a pregnancy test and see, the verdict as well. But yeah, that's so scary. I see why someone can get pregnant so soon after having a baby. Your body's ready for it. And I'm trying to see if there was anything else. Oh, this. Now this is it. After this, I have nothing more to say about my 6-week postpartum. But before our session ended, the OB, before it ended, we did some questionnaires about mental health, and I feel like I'm okay after having a baby. Like, I feel like I've had ups and downs, but it hasn't been anything that has been like dire or like I'm spiraling down. And I'm a behavioral therapist, so I feel like I do a lot of mental health check-ins for myself, and I know how strenuous having a baby can be on someone, whether they have a partner or not, especially as a doula. I have been and seen different stages of postpartum depression. So the last part of my appointment was talking about my mental health questionnaire, and she was like, based on the questions that you asked, it sounds like you have postpartum depression. And I was like, not me, not me. And she was like, yeah, but it's common. Like, that's something huge, and I want to be able to vent and share how I feel about that questionnaire. If you want to know how to try to stay out of postpartum, go to my previous video. It is there for review, and the tips really do work. Peace and positivity. This is Positive Ashley, tuning out, your favorite certified doula and behavioral therapist.